Shunyu rushed to emergency ward after public breakdown. Witnesses say she couldn't breathe. It began as an ordinary afternoon press event. No one expected the silence that would follow. And no one could have prepared for what they witnessed. Shen Yue, the usually calm, collected actress known for her subtle charm and inner strength, was seen gasping for air and clutching her chest moments before collapsing in front of a stunned crowd. It happened too fast. Security reacted, fans screamed, reporters froze. And then she was gone, rushed into an emergency vehicle, sirens blaring, her name echoing through a corridor of confusion and panic. But behind that public chaos lies a deeper storm that fans have been following for months. This wasn't just a breakdown. It was a collapse that had been building quietly with every headline, every unanswered question, and every time she walked away without saying the one thing everyone wanted to hear. And as of this writing, she remains under medical observation. Still. Quiet. Surrounded by doctors. And one overwhelming question. Where is Dylan Wang? The breakdown no one saw coming. The press conference was held at a high-end boutique hotel in the heart of Beijing, meant to promote Shen Yue's upcoming indie film, her first major solo role since the media storm around her and Dylan Wang intensified. Sources say she had been anxious leading up to the event but insisted on appearing despite her team's hesitation. She said she didn't want to hide anymore, a staff member revealed. But we could tell she was already emotionally overwhelmed before even stepping out of the car. The event started smoothly. Cameras clicked. Reporters asked controlled questions. Shunyu smiled politely, gave brief responses, and seemed determined to keep things professional. Until one reporter broke the code of silence. "Shunyu," he said, "the public still doesn't know the truth about your midnight visit to Dylan Wang's clinic. Would you like to clarify what happened that night?" What followed was not an answer. Instead, witnesses say Shunyu stood still, blinked several times, and then took a step backward. One hand touched her neck. The other pressed against her stomach. She whispered something no microphone caught. And then she collapsed. She couldn't breathe, what witnesses saw. "It was the scariest thing I've ever seen," said a journalist who stood just 10 feet away from Shunyu when the moment unfolded. She looked like she couldn't breathe. Her whole chest was rising and falling rapidly. And then her knees just gave out. "I thought she fainted, but the panic on her face said otherwise. She was scared." Multiple onlookers confirmed she gasped for air and clutched her side, possibly suffering a panic attack or respiratory distress. "She didn't hit her head," said a hotel security guard. "But she was trembling on the ground. We couldn't calm her down. It was like her whole body shut down from stress." Paramedics arrived within 7 minutes. Shunyu was wheeled out with an oxygen mask over her face, her eyes closed. Her manager followed close behind, shouting into a phone, visibly panicked. And just like that, the woman who had been under relentless emotional scrutiny for months was suddenly the center of a very different kind of spotlight. Dylan Wang's name echoes in every room. Even as Shen Yue was being taken to the emergency ward, fans, journalists, and even medical staff whispered the same name, Dylan Wang. Because the timing couldn't have been worse. Or more painful. Just days earlier, Dylan himself had suffered a collapse that left him hospitalized and silent. It was Shen Yue's secret visit to his clinic in the dead of night that had triggered speculation of reconciliation or emotional closure. And now she was the one lying in a hospital bed, unresponsive, weak, and once again refusing to explain what happened. "She's not just tired," one nurse reportedly said. "She's broken. Emotionally. Whatever happened that night, it's still inside her. And it's eating her from the inside out." What her team is saying or not saying. A statement was released 12 hours after the incident. Actress Shen Yue experienced an unexpected physical episode related to stress and exhaustion. She is currently under medical care and is stable. "We ask the public and press to respect her privacy." But fans were not satisfied. Because Shen Yue has always spoken with her eyes, her silences, and her unexpected acts of vulnerability. And now those silences feel heavier than ever. "She's been under too much pressure," one stylist confessed. "People see her as strong, but strength like that has a cost. And I think she paid it yesterday." Dylan Wang, still in shadow. The internet turned toward Dylan immediately after the news of Shen Yue's collapse broke. Would he respond? Would he visit her? Would he say anything at all? But for 48 hours, there was nothing. No Instagram stories. No press release. No quiet livestream like before. Just complete digital silence. Until a single post appeared on his account. A black and white photo. Of an empty chair by a window. And a caption that read, "I know that silence now." It received over 4 million likes in less than 2 hours. No name mentioned. But everyone knew. The theories, the tension, the truth. Speculation is at an all-time high. Some believe Shen Yue's collapse was due to guilt that she had been shouldering too much of the emotional weight from Dylan's breakdown. Others believe it was caused by internal family pressure, career expectations, and a media storm that refused to slow down. But one theory stands out among all the noise. What if the silence between them is not anger, not heartbreak, but fear? Fear of what being together might do to them. Fear of the public. Fear of repeating old patterns. Fear of trying again and failing in front of the whole world. She loves him, a former assistant of hers claimed anonymously. But sometimes love isn't enough when you're both broken. Behind hospital doors, a moment that changed everything. 3 days after her admission, Shunyu regained full consciousness. Her team restricted access to everyone except family and one other unexpected name. A source inside the hospital claims that Dylan Wang arrived through the staff entrance late that night. Covered in a hoodie. Masked. Silent. He stayed in her room for 22 minutes. No cameras. No photos. Just them. Alone. And when he left, a nurse reportedly overheard him say, "Now I know what it's like to watch the person you love fall and not be able to catch them." It's unclear what was said inside the room. Or if anything was said at all. But hours later, Shunyu's manager updated the press. She smiled this morning. For the first time in days. The fandom on edge but hopeful. If there's one thing this entire story has proven, it's that fans are emotionally invested on a level beyond celebrity gossip. This is no longer just a story about two actors. It's about what love looks like when it's messy, when it's silent, when it doesn't come with perfect Instagram posts or press statements. And in a world obsessed with labels, Shen Yue and Dylan have given the public something far more real. Caught in the silence, private hospital footage of Dylan Wang and Shen Yue leaked online. The internet was never supposed to see this. It was quiet, intimate, raw. No microphones. No glam. No filters. Just two people sitting in the silence of a hospital room, after weeks of collapsing emotions, unanswered questions, and heartbreak whispered louder than words. Dylan Wang and Shen Yue. Alone. Together. And completely unaware that the world would soon watch a moment they thought belonged only to them. The leaked footage, less than 5 minutes long, has now become the most dissected video in the entertainment world. But this is not just about what they said. It's about what they didn't say. The silences. The eye contact. The shaking hands. The moment his hand reached across the space between them, and hers didn't move away. Because now, fans aren't asking if something happened between them. They're asking what comes next. How the video leaked and who's behind it. Security footage from inside the private clinic where Shunyu was rushed after her emotional breakdown has been leaked anonymously, first posted on an obscure forum, then shared across social media platforms like wildfire. The clip, time-stamped 2:17 a.m., shows Dylan Wang entering Shunyu's private recovery room wearing a hoodie, mask, and black sweats. His posture is tense, his steps hesitant. Shunyu is sitting up in bed, her face pale, her hands gripping a tissue. The moment he walks in, she freezes. He stops. Neither of them speaks for several seconds. And then, he slowly sits in the chair beside her bed. The clip ends before any words are heard. But it doesn't matter. Because the world saw enough to know this was not closure. This was something unfinished, still aching beneath the surface. Hospital administration has launched an internal investigation, but insiders say suspicion is already falling on a part-time nurse who had access to the security system. No one has claimed responsibility. But the damage is done. Online reactions, we shouldn't have seen that. The leak has split the internet down the middle. Some fans have called it a violation. This was private. This wasn't for us. Whoever leaked this crossed a line. Others believe it was a blessing in disguise. We finally saw the truth. They still care. No one sits that close, that still, unless they're holding back everything. A trending post read, "It's the way she didn't cry. The way he didn't rush. It's two people who've already said too much, now trying to heal in silence. But everyone agrees on one thing. This moment was real. Too real. And that's what makes it so hard to look away." Shen Yue's team responds, and so does she. Within hours of the video leak, Shen Yue's team released a rare and emotional statement. Miss Shen Yue did not consent to any form of surveillance being shared with the public. She is deeply shaken by the violation of her privacy, especially during a time of vulnerability. But then, something unexpected happened. Shen Yue herself posted a handwritten note on her verified account, no photo, no caption. Just words. "I didn't know he'd come. I wasn't sure if I wanted him to. But when I looked up, he was just there. And I didn't have to be strong anymore." The post has now been shared over 2 million times. No mention of Dylan's name. But she didn't have to. Dylan Wang breaks his silence, "I'm not hiding anymore." Later that same night, Dylan Wang shocked fans with a live Q&A that was supposed to be about his upcoming creative project. But 10 minutes in, he closed the script. And spoke from the heart. "I don't know how that video got out. But I'm not going to pretend it didn't happen." He paused, visibly emotional. "I went because I needed to see if she was still real. After everything. After the silence. After the things I didn't say, and the things she couldn't say. I sat in that chair, and I didn't speak. I just listened." He then looked directly at the screen. "If you're watching this, you know who you are. I'm not hiding anymore. You don't have to talk. I just needed you to see that I'm still here. For real. No scripts." The live stream ended 5 minutes later. No further updates since. Friends and co-stars weigh in, they weren't acting. As the video spreads and statements stir deeper emotions, several friends close to Dylan and Shen Yue have cautiously stepped forward. One former co-star said, "They always had chemistry. Everyone saw it. But this isn't a show. They're not acting anymore." That video showed two people who've already been through hell and still chose to sit quietly in it, together. Another source from Shen Yue's film team added, "She didn't cry because she already did. Off camera. Alone. The strength it took for her to sit there knowing he might not show up, that's the kind of pain you can't fake."